Good morning. It says we're live. Anybody in here yet? All right. Good morning. It is Tuesday, May 27th in Warren County, Kentucky. It is Clickbait and Coffee. Good morning, everybody. It's a rainy day. I am so sick of this rain. It seems like every other day we've got rain around here. I'm just like, what the heck is going on? And today, I think today it's supposed to rain all freaking day. Good morning, Grit and Grace. You're the first one to comment. Thanks for being in here. Yeah, 70% chance of rain today, 35%, pretty much up until Saturday, we got a chance of rain, and it's just going to suck. So, yeah. Good morning, Cindy. But yeah, I'm really sick of the rain. Yesterday was a pretty stinking nice day. Yeah, Grit and Grace, same here too. I don't understand it. I mean, it has been so wet this year. It's just crazy. Chantel, good morning. But yeah, yesterday was nice. I mean, it was honestly, it was a little cool yesterday afternoon. Nice wind and everything. We my parents have an in-ground swimming pool, so my brother had the day off. I wasn't working yesterday, so we uncovered the pool, started getting it ready and all that kind of stuff. And I went down. My wife is at our church. She's in charge of Vacation Bible School for the decorations and everything, so she needed a bridge built for the preschool class. So of course I was put in charge of building the bridge for the preschool class. So I got the bridge built yesterday and took it down there, helped her for a little bit. All in all, it was a good day. I hope everybody had a good Memorial Day weekend and we remember what it's all about. Not just a fun 3-day weekend to grill out and that kind of stuff. But and I do apologize. Friday I had a family emergency. I had to jump off here and take care of that stuff. So it was a long weekend dealing with all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to really get into it, but sorry for jumping off so fast. So good morning, Miss Sharon. How are you this morning? So, and Sunday was my birthday, the 25th. So we had everybody come over, grilled steaks, hung out, all that kind of fun stuff. And did that. Yes, Miss Sharon, family first for sure. But yeah, so Sunday, everybody hung out. We grilled steaks, did some stuff for my birthday, and on my wife got me it's a Pelican case. Pelican makes it. Thank you, Grit and Grace. It's a Pelican. It's a R60 ruck case, and it's at the house. I should have brought it down here. But it's a small little Pelican case that she got it, and it's got a couple little compartments in there. She bought it. She's like, I think it would be cool. She said, I saw it. I thought it'd be cool for you just to put some odd name stuff. Excuse me. This weather makes me tired when it's raining. Good morning, Bill. Thank you, Miss Sharon, for the birthday wishes. But it's got a couple little compartments in it. And she's like, I thought you could just put some cool stuff in there. Like you could put a power bank for your battery or one of your radios in there. You had, put like a multi-tool and some stuff like that. So I'm like, this is pretty cool. So I got it. I ordered another little battery bank for it. Thank you, Miss Sharon. Ordered a little battery bank for it and some other stuff like that. So once all that stuff comes in, I'm going to do a video on it, and I'll show you the thing probably Friday on our next live. But I got that, and it's pretty stinking cool. So go check those. It's the R60 Rut case from Pelican. So then, what was it? Saturday I was doing some stuff around the house. My brother's got like an amazing freaking Spartan zero-turn mower that he bought a few years ago, and he's like, if you need me to, he's like, I'll come up and mow your yard and you can do all the weed eating. I was like, dude, he's like, it's on the trailer, and he's like, I'll bring it up. So he brought it up. He mowed everything for me. I spent like an hour and a half weed eating and doing some stuff. And then I wanted to, the lights on the outside of the house, we've got lights on all the corners. When I originally built the house, they weren't motion detector or anything. You had to turn them on. I got tired of making sure I had to turn the lights on every night and that kind of stuff. So I've got, Bill, thank you for the happy birthday. I managed 66 years so far. Hey, I am 47 right now, and I tell you what, I feel it sometimes, that's for sure. But yeah, happy birthday too, Bill. So the lights, I had put, and if anybody that's been to my house, on the front of my shop, I've got 2 monster floodlights. They put out, Miss Sharon, happy early birthday since yours is on Friday. We'll have to throw you a big virtual birthday party Friday on the live. But yeah, on the front of the shop, I've got 2 big floodlights. They're put out 7,500 lumens a piece. So on the front of the shop, I've got 15,000 lumens lighting up the shop. It lights up the whole front parking lot and everything where you can work and do stuff at night if you need to. But so I was like, I want to get some new lights for out there. So I went and bought some of the smaller LED. They're dusk till dawn lights. I think they're putting out like 2,700 lumens a piece. So I bought some of those, and then I bought in front of the garage. I bought one of those 7,500 lumen and put it all up. They're all dusk till dawn, automatically come on, and man, I tell you what. At night, this house is lit up like a Christmas tree. You can see everything around the house. It's freaking awesome. Of course, I told, happy birthday, Kentucky Ag. Appreciate you being in here. If I had balloons and knew how to make all the confetti go and all that crap, I don't know if you can do that or not. But if I'd have known that, we could have figured out how to do that. But happy birthday. So I told my wife, I was like, hey, because she was down at church working on BBS stuff. So I told her, I was like, hey, I put some new lights up. And she's like, oh, great. She's like, what'd you put up? I was like, one of them's the one in front of the shop. And she goes, oh my gosh. So Saturday night, when the sun finally went down, all these lights kicked on. And she's like, holy crap. She's like, it's lit up like a prison. You can see everything around the house. And I was like, they're awesome. So that was one of the things I did. So also, I think it was Thursday, and I forgot to tell y'all on Friday, but festival stuff, one of the, it's Kitchen Queen wood stoves. I'll be honest with you, I'd never heard of Kitchen Queen wood stoves, but they're made in right around Hopkinsville, Kentucky, which are only like an hour away from me. The owner of the company called. He was like, hey, he said, we heard about your festival. It's like, we want to be a part of it and bring some of our wood stoves down. So I'm like, heck yeah, that sounds freaking awesome. So it's Kitchen Queen wood stoves. And I think, let me look at the website, and I'll give you the website. Yeah, it is kitchenqueen.com is the website. But they make wood stoves right here in Kentucky, and they're like, we want to be a part of your festival and bring some units down. I'm like, shoot, yeah. I was like, bring those down. I think they said they were going to bring three of their wood stove models, and then also they're going to give us a unit to do the cast iron cooking with. So we're doing cast iron cooking and care, so we're going to have one of their wood stoves also to cook on, which I think is pretty stinking neat. I'm like, this is going to be neat. I mean, I'm going to look at their stoves and talk to them when they're there, because I've been wanting to add on. I'm sitting down in the shop, and this is my office in the shop, and then behind the screen over there, we got a small bathroom, small off-the-grid bathroom. But over here, on my left-hand side, I've been wanting to add, we've been calling it the bunkhouse. So I'm wanting to add a bunkhouse on here and do it semi off-grid. So I would love to put one of those wood cook stoves in there for heat. And then also, if you wanted to cook, you could have it in there to cook on and stuff like that. So I'm pretty interested in doing one of those and having it, but I would love to have one of their wood cook stoves, and I'm excited to look at it in person and check those things out. Yeah, Miss Sharon, I would love to have a wood stove. Best biscuits in the world. I bet. Hey, Miss Sharon, what kind of biscuits do you cook? My mom cooks whipping cream biscuits. Has anybody else done whipping cream biscuits? It's easy. I think you got three ingredients maybe. And I forgot. I've got my mom told me how to make those. Good morning, Hacks for the Homesteader. How are you? But I grew up on whipping cream biscuits. My mom would make whipping cream biscuits, and those are the best biscuits I've ever had in my life. And I told my mom the other day, we were talking about something. It was in the morning. It was Friday morning. Me and mom were sitting there and talking. And I was like, I would give anything for some of your whipping cream biscuits and country ham right now. And she's like, just tell me, and I will make some for you. And I made them myself, and they turned out great. Miss Sharon says, cat head biscuits, flour, lard, and milk. Yeah, those sound awful good. But yeah, she does whipping cream biscuits. I love those things, and now I'm talking about it, and I am absolutely starving. So, but yeah, I'm excited. Kitchen Queen Wood Stoves is going to be there. I'm excited to look at their stuff. So, all right, festival stuff. That's some of the festival stuff. Don't forget, if you're coming to the festival, get your tickets. They're still run to the website, KentuckySustainableLiving.com. Get your tickets there. We've also got all our first aid and medical supplies. All our kits and everything are in stock, ready to ship out. So if you need anything, grab those jokers and get those. Also, don't forget, they've still got some spaces left for the refuge medical class that they're doing Friday morning. It's a 4-hour class. Go to the website. There's a little ticker at the top, a little red ticker at the top. If you click on that thing, it will take you to Refuge's website to sign up and pay for that class. So get your tickets, your first aid stuff, and all that at the website. And Miss Sharon, if you want biscuits like KFC, add a little Sprite. I did not know that. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know the last time that I bought or ate at KFC, honestly. There's all that thing now that it's been a while back. It was circulating around on TikTok that KFC was not chicken. It was, I don't know what they were saying. It's not chicken or something. I don't know. I didn't go down that rabbit hole. So, Hacks for the Homesteader. Coffee is good this morning. I am not drinking coffee. I'm drinking Meyer bottled water. So that's what I had down here at the shop and figured I needed some water. I ran out of liquid IV. I've got to go order some more liquid IV from their website and grab some of it. I've got a ton of Element. Element, it's LMNT. They do electrolytes and all that. They're amazing sponsors for the festival. They send us, no kidding, the last festival they sent me like 3 monster boxes of product to give out, and we put those in our grab bags. And I messaged them for this last festival and was like, hey, you want to sponsor the grab bags again? They're like, sure. So they sent me 2 monster boxes of Element stuff. So we've got that. I think we're going to do 100 grab bags. So the first 100 people coming to the festival are going to get grab bags with some cool stuff in there. Good morning, local prepper. How are you this morning? Glad to see you in here. And Miss Sharon, I don't eat there either, but I bought a box of biscuits or 3. Yeah. Hey, I might run over there for lunch and grab some of their biscuits and try them out. I'm probably going to run down to Rich Pond and get me a tenderloin and biscuit before I head into work this morning. I've got, we're still working on this one bathroom. I'm kind of in a holding pattern. I've got a little bit of drywall to patch and sand, and then I got to start painting. And then once I'm done with the paint, I'm waiting on the glass for the shower, waiting on our plumbing fixtures to come in, and waiting for the vanity to come in. So, or the guy to get done building the vanity. But yeah, so I'm gonna go work on that kind of crap. But we've covered everything, and I asked you on Friday if y'all wanted to do kind of change it up, do Tuesday a topic that we talk about, and then Friday we can talk about the news. So everybody seemed cool with that. And Bill wanted me, Bill was the first person. He was like, let's talk about sheep. So, and raising sheep. So last night, I just put down some stuff. Uh, most of it is just going to be off the cuff, but uh, I did make some notes and stuff just where I could keep myself on track and I wouldn't forget something. I didn't want to talk about breeds of sheep and then jump around and everything like that. So it's somewhat organized. Unlike most of my life that is not organized, this is going to be somewhat organized. And Bill says, I didn't know if I mentioned this or not. My pigs are turning into great gardeners. Are they turning everything up and getting the garden and all that stuff ready, Bill? But all right, sheep. Hair sheep. I raise hair sheep. I've been raising, we have Katahdins. So we have Katahdin sheep is what we started out with. That's what we're going to stay with. And but we've got those. We've been raising them for right around 8 years now. So I ended up what we ended up getting. I got a ewe that had twins, a male and a female. I bought those from my buddy about 8 years ago. We brought them home. Thought it was great. Just started playing with them to see if we liked it, and then we just grown the flock and everything. Right now we've got we're kind of down. We had one of our original ewes. She ended up dying. She was just old and died. Good morning, Melanie. But she died, so we're down a few ewes. And I will tell you this, prefaces this. Sometimes sheep will just die for no reason. I do not understand it. Don't know why, but they can be healthy as can be on Wednesday, and you go down there Thursday, and one of them's freaking dead. I have no idea. They like to die sometimes. So, but we're down on ewes. I'm probably going to get a couple more this fall. So we're down to 4 ewes right now and a ram. And then we've got a couple rams, ram lambs that once they get big enough, we're going to butcher those jokers probably this fall. Good morning, Tactical Muffin Top. I'm glad your coffee is good. I'm drinking bottled water this morning. I didn't feel like making coffee. But yeah, so we raise Katahdin sheep. And yeah, LP, they like to die sometimes. And it's funny. I do not know why these sheep, sometimes they will just flat out just die. No marks, no nothing on them. It's just like, I feel like dying today. I'm just going to die. So, but probably for your top breeds of hair sheep, of course, you got Katahdin. Then you've got your Dorpers, your St. Croix, and your Barbados. So you can kind of look up on all this. Your Barbados sheep, I'm pretty sure the Barbados are the ones that have the big curly horns. I hate stuff with horns around here. I've had a couple goats before that had horns. The stupid things would get their head caught in the fence all the time. It seemed like every day I was getting one of them out of the fence. Didn't like it. So all the Katahdins, none of the Katahdins have horns, which is nice. I just don't like stuff with horns. I've had a couple cows that had horns. Don't like it. I just don't like going down there with pointy objects and a big animal that's moving their head around. That just does not fly with me. So I'll tell you some of your advantages. Yeah, Grit and Grace, nope, that hurts. Yes, I just don't like horns. So the only good thing about the goats that had horns, I was like, it's a built-in handle. My wife would get mad when I would grab one of the goats and grab it by the horns and move it around. She's like, you can't do that. I was like, that's God's built-in handle. That's why he put it there. And yeah, Bill, I think Greg Judy raises St. Croix and Katahdin Cross. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't watched Greg too awful much here lately. But I'm pretty sure he does have the St. Croix Katahdin. I've honestly thought about getting a Dorper ewe. My ewes are a smaller frame ewe. I didn't want monster ewes and stuff like that. So we kind of kept with smaller frame ewes and stuff like that. And my ram throws small little bitty babies. And we'll get into that once we get on down the list and stuff like that. And I need to make a note before I forget. All right. But hair sheep, some of your advantages, the biggest advantage, or the two biggest advantages I see with the hair sheep is no shearing. You don't have to shear these jokers. They will grow a winter coat of hair starting in the fall. When it starts getting cool, they'll start growing their winter coat, and then in the springtime they start shedding it, and they rub on everything. They'll rub up against the trees, rub up against the fence, all that kind of stuff, and shed their hair off. And then once it starts getting real warm, they'll shed all that hair off, and then they've just got a slick coat of hair on those, and they look amazing after that. And it was funny. I don't know if I told the story or not, but when I first started getting into sheep, I didn't know that sheep would do that. So I was out looking. I was out looking at some sheep at a guy's place, and it was in the springtime. They were shedding their coats. You know, they had tufts of hair coming off, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, man, this dude is selling some mangy ass sheep. I was like, these things look like hell. And I asked the guy, I'm like, hey, I was like, these sheep have mange. I was like, they look like hell. And he started laughing, and he explained everything to me that he says, he's like, they shed their hair and all this stuff, and we got a good laugh out of it. And after that, I was like, I'm not going to say anything anymore about mangy sheep. But yes, that's one of the big advantages. You don't have to shear these things. They'll shed off. And then also the second biggest advantage to these sheep, the meat tastes a hell of a lot better than your wool sheep. The meat tastes amazing. So the meat is amazing. And Bill says he stays away from Dorper. I don't know why he stays away from Dorper. I've heard the Dorper are good. They're a big frame. Some of your Dorpers will get, like your Dorpers, you can, like Dorpers a lot of times will max out at like, the ewes will max out at like 200 pounds. And then some of the rams, you're looking at like 300 pounds maxing out. So they're a good sized sheep breed. Some of the other advantages to it, they're heat tolerant. A lot of these breeds were developed or came from like the Caribbean islands and stuff like that. So they're used to all that heat. So they don't mind, you know, the heat in Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama, stuff like that. They can take it and they're perfectly fine. Parasite resistant. They are more parasite resistant than a lot of your other wool sheep and stuff like that. Little to no hoof trimming and hoof rot. I've trimmed, I think I've trimmed one or two ewes one time, and that was it. And that was just because they weren't out on pasture with all the rocks and stuff like that. So we've got some rocky spots in our pasture and everything, and these sheep love to play on these rocks. So they're constantly walking around on rocks and stuff like that. So I think once or twice I've trimmed some hooves. Never had any problem with hoof rot or anything. And I've seen a lot of people will take, if you've got a paddock where the sheep are coming in and out every day, I've seen guys take like the 12 by 12 or the 16 by 16 concrete pavers and put those down through the gate entrance, where they're walking over that rough concrete every day a couple times, and that kind of helps to file their hooves down a little bit where you don't have to do anything. And then hacks for the homesteader. Our sheep are Katahdin and Rambouillet with some wool. Taste is awesome. Yeah, and then Bill says, I think the meat tastes better because the hair sheep don't produce as much lanolin. Yes, and I was going to get on that here in a little bit, but yes, everything that I've heard, your wool breeds have so much lanolin in their body. That's what gives the meat that gamey taste that people talk about. The hair sheep don't have the wool, so they don't have as much lanolin. And I tell you what, I can't taste. There might be there's a little bit different taste in it, and there is beef. But I'll tell you, I would put the Katahdin sheep up against any beef, and I would trade lamb for beef any day and go on about it. But yeah, little to no hoof trimming or hoof rot. I've never had any problem with the hoof rot here, so that I can attest to that. These jokers, easy lambing, as long as you've got a nice ram that doesn't throw monster babies, and we'll kind of hit on that in a little bit. But yeah, easy lambing. We can go out. I can tell when our ewes are getting close to lambing because they'll start bagging up in the back, getting full of milk. We can go out. Most of the time when we're close to lambing, we'll check them in the morning, check them in the afternoon. And my wife, if she's working from the house, she'll go down there like at lunchtime and kind of check. But a lot of times you'll walk down there and you're like, ooh, we've got a new baby or two. So these jokers lamb easy. They're great moms most of the time. Every now and then you'll have a first-time mom that kind of wants to be a ghetto mom and not take care of her baby. But most of the time, they'll take their babies, take care of them. They're up nursing, cleaned off, everything like that, and they're great. And a lot of times you'll have multiple babies. So a lot of the times you're going to have twins. Most of the time your first-time moms will just have a single, and then after that, a lot of times they'll throw twins. Sometimes you'll throw triplets, which triplets, we've had triplets one time here. And the one little baby was just so small, it couldn't get up and nurse. It was getting bullied by its siblings. So we brought it in. It was not in super good health. We ended up giving it some shots and some medicine to help it out. And I ended up having to tube feed that, which was not a fun experience. But that baby just did not make it. I worked for like a week with this joker, and he just did not make it. So most of the time when you have triplets, if they make it, you're going to have to wind up bottle feeding that. So just watch out for triplets. And Bill says, I want sheep because our small farm, how small our farm is, and we have less than 2 acres. Yeah, Bill, sheep will work out great. And I want to get on to, how much an acre, how many you can put in an acre, that kind of stuff and everything. And then also one of the other advantages, they can breed year round. So they're not just going to breed in the fall like some of your wool breeds and stuff like that. They come in season a bunch more than just one time a year. So they'll eat a variety of stuff. I mean, these sheep will eat. They almost browse like goats. So, and then they're low maintenance. Like literally, you can move these guys around on pasture every day, every other day, depending on how big the pasture is. And there's not really a whole lot you got to do with them. So, as far as maintenance stuff, we've touched on it before. No shearing, they shed out. Little to no worming. Like I've had one that was a little wormy. I don't know what happened. So we popped her with a little bit of wormer. Everything was fine, but we try to use all natural wormers. You can use garlic and pumpkin seeds are 2 of your biggest natural dewormers that we use here. One of my friends also told me, and I have not tried it yet, but it's to put whole walnuts with the hull and everything. And they swear by it. They're old timers. They're like, we'll take a bunch of walnuts in the hull and drop them in the water trough. And they say the tannins in the walnut will come out into that water, and you're almost making like a tincture in your water trough. But they say to do that, and when the animals drink it, it's a natural dewormer, and it will worm them. I've yet to try it. I would like to try it and see. We just don't. All the walnut trees that were close to me, one of the farmers came in with his trackhoe and dozer and tore all those out and pushed them in a burn pile. So I don't know of any walnut trees that are super close. So the next time I find some walnut trees, I'm going to gather a bunch of them up, stick those jokers in the water trough and try it. But probably the best thing on keeping your animals parasite free is to break the parasite cycle. So, and you really need to be rotating your animals as far as rotating in paddocks and stuff like that. Yeah, and hacks for the homestead or pumpkins work quite well. That's the biggest thing that a lot of people use is pumpkins. But as far as rotating your animals around, if you can rotate your animals around to different paddocks and do that, in 28 days is typically the life cycle on your parasites. So if you can keep them off that pasture for over 28 days, the life cycle of those parasites have been broken. So they're not going to just keep on. The life cycle's done. It's not going to keep on going. And Miss Sharon says green walnut hulls in vodka for 8 weeks will make iodine. I didn't know that. Good morning, Hag Homestead. Good to have you here. Let me check this real quick. Oh. Apparently my youngest one cut his hair this morning. I don't know why. All right. Pastures and what these jokers eat. These sheep, I know a lot of people will give their sheep grain all the time. We give very little grain to these jokers. Now, when our ewes are done lambing and they're raising some babies, we'll give them a little bit more grain just to help them out a little bit. But we don't grain these jokers every day. I will take, when we're moving paddocks and stuff like that, I'll take a little, one of the little coffee cans of grain and shake it just so they come to me and will follow me. And then I throw them a little bit of grain out, you know, when we're moving pastures, but we're not graining these jokers heavy. Sheep can live on just pasture alone, just on grass and browse and stuff like that. And they will browse, like I said, they'll browse like goats. These jokers will come in, no kidding, when I've cut limbs before, I'll cut the limbs and throw it over in the paddock that they're in, and they will strip every single leaf off these trees, these tree limbs, and just absolutely love it. You can turn them in. When I came up here and moved up to this property and built my house, and Bill says, yeah, Greg says grain grows hooves and horns. I don't know, but we don't grain our guys a whole lot. They get a little bit, but not a ton. But yeah, when I came up and moved up here and built my house in this property, we had multi-floor rows just growing everywhere. That and just thorns and all kinds of crap. These sheep have knocked it down. They will come in on like the multi-floor rows and they will eat every stinking leaf off of that multi-floor rows and not be bleeding or anything. So they'll browse, do all that kind of stuff, and eat weeds and all that kind of junk. They will take, we've had some, they're the black locust trees, which I cannot stand. Good morning, Oops. Glad to have you here. I cannot stand these black locusts, these storm trees. There were tons of them over here, and oak leaves are high in tannin, especially the green ones. Yeah, and so we had all these thorn trees and everything. So I started cutting these thorn trees and pulling them up, but the stinking, the roots will actually sprout up and everything. So I figured out the easiest way to get rid of the thorn trees, I would come in and cut those jokers off at about 3 foot tall to where I could see them with the tractor and I wouldn't run over them. So these trees would start to sprout out limbs. Essentially, I coppiced these trees, so they would start sprouting out. And when what I would do once they started sprouting out and they had all these leaves, I would run the sheep in there, let them eat all the leaves off these newly sprouted limbs. They would absolutely love it. And after I did that like 3 or 4 times, these locust trees are just like, screw it, I'm done. I'm just going to die and be done. So that's how I got rid of those trees naturally. So we've got a couple more that we're working on that that have not given up yet, but hopefully they'll give up soon. But yeah, as far as your pastures, we've just got a mix of all different types of grass. We've got everything from clover to fescue to some native grasses, some what everybody calls weeds, but the sheep will eat the weeds. There's very little stuff that these jokers will not eat. So fencing, we've got around the whole property, it's a high tensile field fence with barbed wire on top. The sheep don't really mess with the fence too much. The only time they mess with the fence is when they're shedding, they want to rub up against it to get their hair off. So, but it's high tensile woven wire fence around the whole property is our perimeter with barbed wire. These sheep will stay behind two to three strands of electric fence. So don't use, I was using, and I'm in the process of changing everything now, but we're using the poly wire, that plastic wire with like 3 strands, 3 little small strands of the stupid electrified fence in it. With that hair coat, they were not getting enough shock. So they would just walk right through that, even with a hot charger on there. So I'm in the process of switching everything over to the real metal electric fence. So, but they'll stay behind 1 or 2 strands of that, and perfectly fine. Just make sure you got a good charger and a good ground. Let's see what Oops said. Between pigs, sheep, and goats, we have very little green anywhere unless we want it green. Yeah, I mean, you really got to kind of build your stuff up and stuff like that. I mean, luckily this year everything is just super green with all the rain we've had. I've got pasture over at the neighbor's place that some of that stuff is getting his pasture knee in height. I've got to get the animals over there on that. But we also use the Premier One net fence. That stuff is great. They don't challenge it. It almost acts, it's got a good shock to it, but it will act as almost like a barrier. They see it. They never jumped over the net fence, never went through the net fence. So that's great. The Premier One electric net fence is great. You really need to rotate these guys through, let them stay in a paddock. And depending on how big your paddock is, if you give these sheep too big a paddock, they're going to go in and just eat what they want to. They're going to act like a buffet. They're going to go in there and eat all the dessert and all the steak, and they're not going to eat any of the green vegetables that they don't like. So the smaller the pastures and the smaller the paddocks are, you can go in there and let them graze that. They're going to eat the stuff that they don't like also, and the stuff that they like, and then you can move these jokers. Yeah, Bill says my pasture is waist high. Bill, you need a couple sheep and let them mow that stuff down. They will flat tear that stuff up, I bet. So, but yeah, rotate these jokers around. We've got 7 or 8 paddocks right now that we've got set up that I can rotate the guys through. And like I've talked about before, we're going to start rotating around on the neighbor's property. There's 3 paddocks over there that I just bring them through, let them cross the driveway, and stick them over there and let them graze. And then I bring them back over and at night, because that's just got 2 strands of electric fence, and that touches on as far as livestock guard dogs and guardian dogs. Sheep have no natural defense other than to run. And so you've got to have some kind of guard dog or guard animal. I know a lot of people will have donkeys as like a livestock guard dog donkey. That's great if you want to do that. They will do it. They'll protect the sheep and protect your animals. We've got 2 livestock guard dogs. We've got their Anatolian Great Pyrenees mix. They've had a problem, or at least Joe, my oldest one, has had a problem with getting out of the fence. So typically we don't let her run next door at the neighbor's property, because I know she will get out of that. But I've not had any problems during the daytime. So get a good livestock guard dog or 2 if you're going to start raising the sheep, or have super great fences that no dogs or no coyotes or anything like that can get in. Excuse me, I'm choked up this morning. Oops said I made net fence out of our regular gavel wire, and it works great. That would probably work out pretty good. I mean, right now, these sheep now will stay behind 2 or 3 strands of actual metal electric fence, and I like working with that, because most of the time we'll set our paddocks up and the paddocks stay that way. I don't have time to run net fence every day and move it. It's just not enough time in a day to do that. So we'll set up semi-permanent paddocks for them and do it that way. So, but yeah, livestock guard dogs, they've got to have something to protect those guys. We don't have coyotes anymore. We used to have coyotes. The coyotes would be out here all the time, but now with those livestock guard dogs, the coyotes do not come on the property, because they hear those guys. They hear those guys barking, and they're just like, no, we're not doing it. And Bill says, I've noticed that since getting the pigs, that the coyotes have moved out over a half a mile away. Yeah, it's funny, those jokers, and I tell you, a pig, even a smaller pig, will take a coyote down, and the coyotes are like, we're not going to come mess with that. So All right, lambing and breeding. Like I said before, these the Katahdin sheep are great moms. They will take care of their babies, have no problems with lambing as long as you've got. We had a problem before. I had a big stud ram that he was a good looking ram, awesome guy. He got a little mean in the end, but the problem is he was throwing babies that were too big for my ewes. He really honestly needed some Dorper ewes to breed, that these Dorper ewes could handle the bigger babies. But he was just throwing too big of babies. We were having problems with him lambing. The babies were monster babies if they survived. So we got rid of him, found a ram that would throw smaller babies. And after we had that ram, we've not had a problem one. I mean, we get little 6 and 7 pound live babies that just pop right out. They're jumping around an hour later and they're good to go. So make sure that when you get it, I know everybody's like, oh my gosh, this is a monster ram. He's throwing these great babies, these monster babies and everything. But if your ewes are not big enough, you're going to have problems with that. I keep the ram. Some people will separate their ram and just put him in certain times of the year so you know exactly when you're going to have babies. I don't do that. We keep our ram with the ewes year round. And just let nature, whenever these ewes are in heat, he takes care of business. And then we've got babies 5 months later, or right around 5 months. I mean, so you're looking at gestation is right around 5 months on your Katahdin sheep. What else have I got? They're easy to lamb, even in cold weather. I mean, we've had lambs when it's been snowing and cold and everything else, and not a problem, or very, very rarely a problem with that. Most of the time, the moms will get those jokers cleaned up, and they're up and nursing, getting their colostrum, and they're fine. and then while I'm thinking about it, as far as housing and stuff like that, as long as you've got a place for these sheep to get in out of the wind and the weather, it doesn't have to be something super nice or anything like that. I mean, I know Greg Judy doesn't have barns for his sheep or his cows. He just makes sure they've got a good windbreak, like a cedar thicket or something like that, that if it gets real bad, they can go in and get in out of the wind and the rain and stuff like that. But honestly, I've seen my sheep before. It's snowing and everything else, and I'm like, the sheep ought to be in the barn. So I walk down to the barn. Nobody's in the barn. They're all out underneath the cedar tree just hanging out. I'm like, y'all got a freaking nice barn that's super dry. You can get out of the wind, get out of the snow, but you're sitting underneath the cedar tree just hanging out. So really bare minimum on shelters and stuff like that. I know Billy over at Permapasture's farm, he runs his in a sheep tractor. And essentially it's got, I think 1 or 2 sides of it has a tarp to block the wind, and then he's got a tarp over the top that they can get out of the rain if they need to. And those sheep are fine. So you don't have to have some big elaborate, super nice barn, anything like that for these sheep. They will stand out in the rain and the snow all the time and just graze through the pasture, and it's just like whatever. Oops says all our animals just stay out in the weather. Never makes sense to me. Yeah, exactly. I just do not understand it. I'm just like, okay, whatever. If you want to stand out in the snow, stand out in the snow, but there's a barn here that you can get into. So now a lot of the times you'll have twins. Every now and then you'll have triplets. You want to shoot for essentially on the bigger operations, you want to shoot for a 1.5 or 150% lambing rate, meaning you're going to get 150%. That means essentially half of your ewes will throw a single, and then the other half will throw twins. So you're wanting to shoot 150% lambing rate. Last year we ended up with like 165 or 170% lambing rate is what we wound up with. So that's what you want to shoot for, but you're going to have a lot of twins. And I tell you what, you can build a flock quick. If you start out with like 4 ewes, you can freaking go on and have, I mean, you're going to have a ton of sheep at the end of the year. So, I mean, you can grow a flock quick. And then also, I forgot, Bill was asking about some stuff. Pasture. Usually, typical rule of thumb around here, you can run about 4 sheep to the acre if you're rotating them around and stuff like that. So take it for what it is, about 4 sheep to an acre on nice pasture. And then Miss Sharon, I learned a long time ago, animals are going to do pretty much what they want to. Yes, pretty much they are. And we got one old Billy that hates the rain. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Some of them want to stay in there, and then some of them are like, hey, we'll just sit out here in the weather and do whatever. All right, meat quality and yields on it. We've touched on it before. The meat quality on the Katahdin sheep, the hair sheep, is amazing just because they don't have that lanolin in their body. I love the meat. I love to do like lamb sliders or lamb burgers. I love the lamb chops, leg of lamb. We've done leg of lamb. I'll put it on a roasting pan, salt, pepper, and garlic, slide it in the oven and cook it. And it is just freaking amazing. Absolutely love it. So, and I put a link in the video description. I did some videos on yields of animals and how many you need for like a family of 4 for a year and stuff like that. I kind of get down into the math and stuff like that. But there's a link in that video for the sheep. And if you go watch that video with the sheep, it's got cows and all kinds of stuff like that, other videos that I did. But I go in depth a little bit more on it. But essentially your typical yield, if you got the live weight of the animal, you can multiply it by 0.54. That's going to give you your carcass weight. So essentially live weight, half the live weight is going to be the carcass weight on that. And then if you take your carcass weight and multiply it by 0.7, that's going to give you essentially your finished meat. So you're looking at 38 to 40% of live weight is going to be what you get in finished meat for your freezer. And I go more in depth on that video. Go take a look at that video, but I go more in depth on that. That is kind of all I've got for the sheep and stuff. If y'all got any questions, I've got a few more minutes before I have to go do my real job and everything. But if anybody's got any questions, I will answer those and before we scoot out of here. And then also, I need to know, Friday we'll do some new stuff. I need a topic, and I want y'all to tell me the topics. I want y'all to give me a topic for next Tuesday, and I'll start working on that. And Camo Dad says, use lamb burger for everything. Going to try leg of lamb in the smoker soon. Camo Dad, I've never had smoked lamb. That sounds like it would be a winner for sure. I know just doing leg of lamb in the oven turns out amazing with the salt, pepper, and garlic. So I would say that a smoked leg of lamb would be good. And Melanie, thank you for the great info. I'm wanting to try sheep next. Melanie, sheep are honestly easy. I mean, and the thing is with sheep, you never hear of like, oh my gosh, a kid was, run over and killed by sheep. You never hear anything like that. My 9-year-old goes down there and catches the lambs all the time. He'll sneak up behind them, grab one by the back leg, and just hold on to it. And so most of mine will come right up to you. You can do whatever you want to with them. And Bill says, I would like to start with 3 feeders and see how it goes. All goes well. I want a ram and 2 ewes. Yeah. I mean, Bill, a ram and 2 ewes, I mean, you're going to have a stinking big flock quick because, I mean, they're prolific breeders and everything else. So, all right, guys, if nobody's got any questions or topics for Tuesday, I will come up with a topic on my own. So we'll figure something out. But, guys, I appreciate y'all being here. I'm going to run and sand drywall and start painting on this job. But I'll be here Friday. And then also Friday, we'll get a topic. If y'all want, just throw me the topic on Friday, and we'll figure something out. But, guys, I appreciate y'all being here. Get your tickets, get your first aid medical stuff over at the website. And I appreciate y'all, and we will see y'all Friday. Bye.